P4 in Santiago then. Ina Babness Jr. taking his first pole position with Revo alongside. Then it's Oscar Falstad and Jack Carter starting fourth. Bastian Tan starts fifth from UK Ball and Leo. Then in eighth place is David Camo, then Sebastian Ocampo and Jonathan Sims. Kari Lopez starts 11th from Tommy in 12th. Then you've got Dash Sanchez, Santino Milan, his teammate P. Sierra, and Cosmos, followed up by the other Sims Motorsport car of Cici. And you've got Not Huey, Lewis Olsen, T. Gabo, Daniel Bocasaro, and Miguel de Souza. Well then, Ina Babness Jr., as his father once did before him, takes a pole position. Can he convert that into a win? Let's find out. We go green in Santiago. Not the best start for Babness Jr. there as they rise up the hill here in Chile. Revo already up ahead of the Venturi driver as they come through turn 1. 5 second time penalty for the championship leader, and Ocampo's found himself in the wall. Into the barriers has gone the Andretti Honda car of Sebastian Ocampo, and after Honda have brought in some necessary upgrades to their powertrain, Ocampo hasn't had the best start, and T. Gabo further back also involved in this, it seems. Yellow's now being cleared. Bastian Tan, the man who currently is in a shot of leading the championship, he's currently second. He's found himself for the 5 second time penalty. Jack Carter, the man who's in his sophomore season, is currently the championship leader and is currently in third as he tries to close in on the pole sitter of Ina Babness Jr., who has been jumped by this man Revo, who now leads the Santiago Prix. UK Ball currently in fifth, on board with him, the season 10 champion, as he's still not too close to the back of Oscar Falstad. He's gotten past Bastian Tan, so Braun GP definitely enjoying the boosts to development that Honda have seen with their powertrain and brought them much closer to the front of the pack, because they're now fighting for points, unlike last few races where Braun themselves, and especially Andretti, they were struggling to get even 10th. As we see drivers rising up the hill looking for David Cameron now on P7, lap 2 of 14 here in Santiago, Chile. And on board with an Huey in that Aurelio Mahindra car, Aurelio Motors and version Renault, or just rather the Renault powertrain. And you know what, as well as that, the Nissan powertrain. All three of those guys have not decided to make too many upgrades when it comes to their powertrain and its development. Sebastian Ocampo is probably going to be able to get himself up to, I wager, around 12th. But the two Aurelio Pinnacle drivers, I'd say, are punching above their weight. I think it probably has to do with something with their chassis. And I think I can announce this right now on the channel. I'm going to delay Season 19 into either late 2024 or 2025. I'm just going to say that right now. It's going to have a massive delay because I'm working on something that you guys are probably not going to expect. They'll probably only be used for a handful of seasons, as long as Marco with First K can actually deliver a meaningful upgrade for season for 2025. If he doesn't, then I will use what I'm trying to work on for the foreseeable future. As down the hill goes Ina Babness Jr. And that man in the Venturi car, he's doing a brilliant job. Miguel de Souza, fastest lap of 1:23.966. Very nice job from the Dragon Man. He started from the back, his teammate right behind him. As Sebastian Ocampo has found himself up into 20th position. He does actually have quite a bit of damage to his car. I'm not too sure if he's actually able to use attack mode, which is online, has been online for the past lap or so. But Babness Jr. has been nowhere near Revo. He's been streaking off into the distance. But on board with Jack Carter, the man who currently leads this championship, he's currently at risk of losing it to his own teammate, which I'm pretty sure the guys down at PS Automobiles wouldn't care too much about. They'd like to see the #1 car do it three-peat. As further back, Santino Milan and CC fighting over 16th position, trying to keep that Sims Motorsport car behind. And I think he might have just been able to do it for now. Still looking with Santiago Milan as race leader Revo has started his 4th lap of 14. Tire wear is probably going to become a massive talking point as there goes CC at the final turn. Up into 16th, they've both got attack mode. Here comes Santiago Milan back at him, and possibly even an RQE. Brilliant stuff from the Argentine driver to send one down and up into 15th position, as he now chases after the other Aurelio Mahindra, but back past him goes an RQE. I'm not too sure where all that traction and grit has gone for the Nissan driver, but it just seems to have just slipped away from him at the last minute. Jack Carter's actually dropping off the back of Ina Balanes Jr. in that Venturi car. He really is just trying to keep himself on the podium. Let's take a look at these two as they come through the 3rd and final sector. And how does Balanes Jr. position his car to defend from Carter? We're still taking a look behind, of course. Volstad also in this scrabble for the final 2 positions on the podium. Tommy, you're up into 10th now. He's the fastest second sector of anyone. Likely when he was doing that, and we've actually dropped off quite a bit. Bastian Tan, by the way, only man who decided to start on the hards. We'll see if that actually helps his bid. And Balanes Jr., you can see he's actually doing very good. That Venturi seems very planted in the low-speed turns. On the straights, it just seems like there. In the braking points, Carter is able to just close in a lot more. That might be just one of the strengths of the DS Automobile stock chassis, as into the pits comes Cosmos for Aurelio Honda. And Sebastian Ocampo, we should probably care a lot more about this man's rise through the grid, because he's found himself up in 18th now. CC currently fighting with the 2 Nissans. This is not the 2 Nissans, just Santiago Milan. This is a customer powertrain that CC has found themselves with, is by joining with Sims Motorsport. And of course Santiago Milan driving with the factory Nissan powertrain. And Balanes Jr. is actually closing in on race leader Revo and dropping Carter. I think I'm not the strategy kind of guy, as here comes Shichi down the straight to try and take 14th away, sends it up into 14th. There you go. And an RQE is actually looking to do a similar thing. Can he try and take that position away from the Nissan man? It might take a little bit longer. Into the pits comes race leader Revo. Balanes Jr. is in with him, so Jack Carter inherits the race lead here in Chile with Oscar Volstad in 2nd and U-Cable in 3rd. This is the highest U-Cable's run in quite a while. He did start on pole for his home E3 last season, but of course that didn't quite go to fruition. CC and Sanchez both in pit lane as well, alongside a not Huey. Revo's coming out of the pits just on the cusp of the top 10. He's fighting with Santiago Milan and Miguel de Souza, who's currently up in 13th with the fastest lap of the E3. Ocampo is quite a ways ahead of his own teammate as we go on board with the blue, white and red Andretti Honda with the stars and stripes of the USA on that car. One of the more interesting liveries, more out there liveries that we see on the grid. We look to a little more reserved livery, the DS McLaren TGR car. Of course, then powered by a DS Automobiles. But here comes a Honda-powered car in U-Cable right behind him. This is a vice champion in his sophomore season, facing off against a World Drivers Champion in, well, his 17th season of this championship. He missed out on season 12, if you'll remember, due to commitments with the F1 championship, which was running at the time. And speaking of championships, there's a high likelihood that the FG series ends after this season, or potentially even mid-season. Volstad and U-Cable both in pit lane. Carter will start this race at half race distance, and I do think those mediums should be able to go to roughly the end of this race. On board with Carter, He should do another lap. It will be a little bit questionable, but I do think that this man Revo, when he pitted when he did, and I think that was probably the right decision. Just like in Mexico, however, this is unheard of. This is so few incidents, though, as we are on board with the double reigning champion, trying to make it a three-peat this time out in round 3. He's still yet to win a race, but he's high in the world driver standings. Tries to go around the outside of Leo here. He's going to get attack mode as the red and black Aurelio Pinnacle car, with Einit Baunus actually close behind. Baunus Jr. trying to keep himself in this fight for what will become the race lead. Here comes Einit Baunus Jr., the rookie versus is the reigning champion, and up into 4th in the net race lead goes Einit Baunus Jr., setting the fastest second sector in the process. And that is quite the landmark statement. After 5th last time out, he's gunning for a race win. He started on pole, lost the pole off the start, and is trying to win his first ever Formula E Monoposto Championship race, as his father has done countless times before. Jack Carter's in pit lane, David Camno's in pit lane, Bastian Tan is leading this race from Einit Baunus and Revo. And Carter's gonna come out of the pit, and he's gonna be racing U-Cable on exit, so we'll take a look at turn 1. There goes U-Cable and Oscar Fulstad, so he hasn't quite won that battle. He's even come out behind Dav Sanchez, so he's come out of the pits in 7th. That's a net P6 for the championship leader. In his sophomore season, he's leading the championship. Here's the thing, we are seeing currently 2 guys in that championship fight who are only in their 2nd season of the championship. Oscar Fulstad and Jack Carter. They're both of their teammates are also in the championship fight. This is McLaren versus DS Automobiles. Baunus Jr. goes past Bastian Tan, and I think Revo might actually be able to do the same thing on the McLaren man. So on board with the number 1 car. Does he try and send it down the inside? He doesn't. Trying to make a late lunge there, but still on board with Revo, trying to force his way past the McLaren. Looks to the outside, not quite the right place to make it. If not, you're going to crash, mate. So coming through this long turn here, sees the inside line, gets brake tested almost by the number 22 car. Baunus Jr. is looking at this and going, this is pretty nice, because he's gotten himself a 3-second gap ahead of Bastian Tan, who's still not coming into pit lane. So Revo is going to get attack mode on lap 9 of 14. He's going to be closing in. Does he try and send one down the inside at turn 1? U-Cable the fastest lap. Into 2nd place goes Revo. 2nd place for Revo. That was a late lunge for that 2nd position. And now he's free to try and chase after Baunus Jr. But considering that gap being 4.5 seconds, Santino Milan taking a new fastest lap, I think we might see once again a driver win on their 3rd start. This man, Santino Milan, won the Buenos Aires E-Prix not last season, 2 seasons ago, and that was his 3rd start. This is something that rarely happens with drivers winning on their 3rd start, but Baunus Jr. might be able to do it. His father in his debut season was a standout moment of season 3, and in season 18, Baunus Jr. might actually be able to do wonders in that Venturi car. U-Cable has found his way ahead of Bastian Tan. Same with Oscar Fulstad. We might see a rematch between former teammates. These 2, U-Cable and Revo, don't truly remember them having too many championship bouts before this. They might see themselves with one if Braun can just get themselves together. 4 laps to go here in Santiago. Here comes U-Cable. We're going to try and go on board with Revo. There to the inside goes U-Cable and Oscar Fulstad. Fulstad looks to the inside. U-Cable to P2. Bastian Tan's in pit lane. Camno with the fastest lap. Here comes Revo back out as former teammate. And up into 2nd he goes. So now U-Cable, he's on both the point of defense and offense. Fulstad's got no one to defend from. Carter is 4 seconds away from this fight. Baunus Jr. is 3 seconds, 4 seconds out of Revo. This is the main fight for position. They're fighting for second here. Babinus Jr. is running away with this race win. You can see him. He's just that speck right ahead of Revo, who is driving that black and gold or DS Automobiles car, and he's got the white car of Born Honda GP's number 89 of UK Ball. Camino fighting with a car. He's lost out on that fight. In particular, Tommy trying to get past Sims, and he does get past Jonathan Sims. UK Ball still on the back of Revo. This race is getting really interesting at the end here. We haven't even lost a single driver yet on lap 10 of 14. And we are receiving words from the guys down at DS Automobiles. Those mediums are not holding up as much as they'd expect them to. They might have to pit again. Babinus Jr. pits! Eyeing it, Babinus Jr. comes in for his second stop. He was the first man to stop at the leading pack, so it makes sense. So now Revo is the man leading this E3 from UK Ball and Oscar Fulstad. That is your current top three, but I do not believe that Revo has the tires to make it to the end of the race. It's just unthinkable. Sebastian Stan, by the way, is dropped all the way down to 19th position, but you can see little train forming, sends one down the inside, and he's hit Santino Milan. Santino Milan's been T-boned there by Sebastian Stan. Almost got passed by Sebastian Ocampo there. Keeps him at bay for now. But that was a late lunge. It was a dangerous lunge, and it's a lunge that I don't think any other driver should make. If you're a young driver trying to make it to Formula 1, Formula E, do not do what you've just seen there. Do what UK Ball's done there to take the lead of the E3. That's a much cleaner, much more elegant, and a brilliant move from the Braun Honda driver, who now leads an E3 for the first time since London last season, and hopefully can win on this occasion. I do not believe that Revo's got the tyres to make it to the end of this race. There's just no way. There's no way he's going to make it to the end. There's no way that any of the top 4 drivers are going to make it to the end of the race. UK Ball stays out. Revo does peel into the pits. Folstad and Carter are both staying out of those in the top 4. As here comes Jack Carter, sending one late to the inside and up into second. Can he hold on? He does hold on. Where is Babinus Jr.? He's running up the hill. Where is Revo in relation to him? Babinus Jr. is still ahead of Revo. Revo's not going to be in the top 10 currently. Babinus Jr. gets himself ahead of Jonathan Sims, so it's a Venturi 7-8. Leo currently behind both of these men. Sims trying to send one back down the inside and does solidify that 8th position for the Sims Motorsport owner, driver in the number 21 car. And Revo's coming out of the pits in 12th. Relative free air. So it was roughly 18 seconds for a pit stop. Roughly that. Maybe more, maybe less. And Sebastian Tan's in again, and he's got a puncture. Sebastian Tan. Oh. That was a strategy that probably should have worked. He's come him in though, and he's going to go into softs. Carter leads the way from UK Ball and Oscar Fulstad. Camno and Akari fighting over 4th position here. And further back, similar fight happening with Tommy and Das Sanchez and Babinus Jr. as well, trying to make one out round the outside. We're looking with Sanchez. They're still wheel to wheel going through the 3rd sector. And I don't know, to be honest with you. Sanchez has dropped back away from Babinus Jr. Into the pits comes Jack Carter, UK Ball and Fulstad all in. David Camno, we believe, yes, he will lead us to the... we will go on to the penultimate lap with him. My goodness, this is going to be a wild, wild podium. We might see 2 Venturis on the podium. In their prior appearances in the Formula E Monoposto Championship, as Babinus Jr. gets past his teammate, Venturi were either plucky underdogs or literally nowhere. These guys might be championship contenders. If not this season, absolutely next season, DS Venturi could be massive, massive heavy hitters. But it's all going to come down to this then. Camno is currently 2 seconds ahead of the fight for second. Here comes Babinus Jr. trying to send one down the inside, going up into second position. And in only his 3rd start, he's got attack mode now. He's going to try and chase after David Camno. It's going to be a 2-second claw he's gonna have to catch up to Camino by. I don't know if he'll do it. I think he can. Revo, by the way, reigning champion, is currently 5th. Sims is 6th. If anyone's interested. But Fabulous is closing up. Fabulous Jr. might win the Santiago E-Prix. There is no way this is actually happening. Akari, by the way, still in 3rd. But look at this. 6/10 of a second. He's clawed back 2 seconds in an entire sector. How has he managed this? So we come to the final turn then. And as David Camno takes the white flag to start the final lap of the E-Prix, he's not going to be leading it for too much longer. Into turn 1 and into the lead goes Iron Fabulous Jr. Wide has to go David Camno, but Fabulous Jr. leads his first ever E-Prix on the last lap. It's his 3rd start in the FEMC and he might be able to win it. Revo has found himself up in P3. This is probably going to be him taking the lead of the World Drivers' Championship. And this is going to be this man, Iron Fabulous Jr., stating his claim as to doing what his father could not. Potentially go on and win a World Drivers' Championship. Dav Sanchez sets the fastest first sector of anybody in the number 11 car. In 11th currently, behind his own teammate, who's had a stellar comeback through the field after the incident down at turn 1 on lap 1. He's currently up in 10th. But for this man, Iron Fabulous Jr., as up into 5th goes is Tommy. U-Cable up into 6th. And the 2 DS cars currently 3rd and 4th. Fabulous Jr., he's on the cusp of glory. In only his 3rd start in the FEMC, we might be witnessing a future champion here make his 3rd ever start, and he comes to the final turn in Santiago. And Fabulous Jr. wins the Santiago E-Prix from Revo in 2nd and David Camno in 3rd. Revo setting a fastest lap of a 1:20. His teammate setting a fastest lap of a 1:21.261. And Camno is 3rd, Carter is 4th, U-Cable 5th, Tommy 6th, Polstad down in 7th, then it's Akari, Jonathan Sims, and Dav Sanchez setting a 1:20.5 on the final lap, getting ahead of his own teammate. Sebastian Ocampo in 11th, then it's Leo, Miguel de Souza, Cosmos, Santino Milan, P. Sierra, Santino Milan, Shishi, Anok Kiwi, Lewis Olsen, Daniel Bogdasarov, T. Gabo, and in last place it's the DS McLaren TGR car of Bastian Tan, who probably would have wished for a better day. And this is your water podium. Iron Fabulous Jr. in only his 3rd start has won an E-Prix, and it just so happens to be the Santiago E-Prix from Revo and David Camno. Revo still yet to take a win in his title defense. Then it's Jack Carter, U-Cable, Tommy, Oscar Falstad, and Macari Lopez, followed up by Jonathan Sims. Dav Sanchez tied with Jonathan Sims on points for taking the fastest lap. Then it's Sebastian Ocampo, Leo, Miguel de Souza, Cosmos, P. Sierra, Santino Milan in 16th, and it's Shishi, Nokiri, Lewis Olsen, Daniel Bogdasarov, T. Gabo, and Bastian Tan. In the driver's standings, well, it's a 1-2 for DS Automobiles, Jack Carter leading the way from Revo, and then it's Iron Fabulous Jr. from the 2 DS McLaren TGR cars tied on 31 points. Santino Milan is 6th from David Camno tied with Akari Lopez. Then it's U-Cable and Dav Sanchez both tied on 12 points. Jonathan Simpson, Tommy both tied on 10 points. P. Sierra and CC both tied on 6 points. And it's Anok Huey, he being the last of your finishers, point scorers behind Miguel de Souza, who's on 4 points. Your non-scorers still, after the first 3 rounds of the season, are Sebastian Ocampo, T. Gabo, Daniel Bogdasarov, Lewis Olsen, Leo, and Cosmos. In the constructors standings, heading into the next round of the championship, DS Automobiles leads the way on 93 points from DS McLaren TGR on 62. Then it's DS Venturi Formula E team on 47 points. The DS powered cars dominating this championship in its early phases. Then it's the Nismo Formula E team on 28, Braun Honda on 27, followed up by Sims Motorsport, Nissan, Aurelio Pinnacle, Andretti Honda, Dragon Renault, Aurelio Mahindra, and Virgin Renault has still yet to score any points. We'll see you guys next time then for round 4 of the FEMC.